Italy, a land where every stone tells a story. Every village holds centuries of history, and every sunset feels like a masterpiece painted across the sky. From the sun-kissed shores of the Amalfi coast to the quiet cobblestone streets of timeless hilltop towns, Italy invites you to explore its hidden wonders. Join us as we journey through the most beautiful villages, where tradition thrives, history endures, and the spirit of Italy comes alive in every corner. This is not just travel. It's a journey through culture, beauty, and the heart of a country that has inspired the world for centuries. This is Wonders of Italy. Prepare to witness Italy like never before, in breathtaking 4K clarity. Every street, every view, and every moment tells a story you'll never forget. Imagine a place where time slows down, where every corner feels like a living painting, and every stone whispers stories from centuries past. Imagine stepping into villages untouched by modern chaos, where life moves to the rhythm of church bells, sea waves, vineyard breezes, and footsteps on ancient cobblestone. This isn't just a journey. This is Italy as you've never seen it, raw, timeless, breathtaking. Today, we begin an adventure through the most beautiful villages in Italy, hidden treasures that define the soul of this country. Get ready, because what you're about to witness will make you fall in love with Italy all over again. Our journey begins in the village of Manarola, one of the crown jewels of Cinque Terre on the Italian Riviera. Rising above the Ligurian Sea, Manarola looks like a cascade of pastel-colored houses clinging to cliffs, as if holding on to a secret. From the moment you arrive, you're met with a powerful contrast, an endless blue horizon fused with a village built in layers, each level more picturesque than the last. The scent of lemon trees mixes with the salty air, and the sound of waves crashing against the rocks becomes a natural soundtrack guiding your steps. As you walk along narrow alleyways, the village reveals itself slowly, deliberately, like a shy actor stepping into the spotlight. Small artisan shops display handmade ceramics, local artists capture sunsets in vivid brushstrokes, and fishermen unwind their nets as they've done for generations. Manarola is more than a postcard, it's a world suspended between sea and sky. The heart of the village is its vineyard-covered hills. For centuries, these terraces have produced Cinque Terre, a precious sweet wine unique to this region. The vineyards themselves are a marvel, hundreds of stone terraces carved into cliffs by hand, forming a living sculpture that showcases the resilience and craftsmanship of the people who call this place home. Then there's the famous coastal walkway, where you can watch the sea shimmer below and the village glow golden as the sun sets. From here, Manarola becomes dreamlike, its colors intensifying until the houses look like lanterns floating above the Mediterranean. This moment, this golden hour, is Italy distilled into pure emotion. What makes Manarola so unforgettable isn't just its beauty, but its authenticity. It has preserved its identity through centuries of storms, wars, and changing worlds. The traditions are alive, the people warm, and the energy peaceful in a way that feels almost sacred. And as night falls, the horizon transforms into an endless velvet blue, with the village lights reflecting in the waves. The silence deepens, broken only by distant laughter or the splash of a boat returning to shore. In this moment, you realize that Manarola isn't a destination. It's a feeling of serenity, a feeling of nostalgia, a feeling of connection to a simpler, more meaningful version of life. This is where our Italian journey begins, with light, color, and emotion. With a place so enchanting it pulls you in and refuses to let go. But this is only the first of many wonders. Italy holds villages tucked in hills, perched on cliffs, hidden between vineyards, sleeping beside lakes, and carved into mountains, each one carrying a unique story, a unique charm, a unique heartbeat. And in the next chapter, we travel deeper into the heart of Tuscany, to a village that feels like stepping into a Renaissance painting brought to life. Have you ever stepped into a place so beautiful, so unreal, that for a moment you wondered if you accidentally walked into a movie set? That's exactly the feeling this next Italian village creates. As you arrive, the world around you feels softer, quieter, and more magical, like time itself has slowed down just so you can truly see what beauty looks like. This is not a famous city or a crowded landmark. This is a hidden gem that travelers whisper about, a village where Italy's soul reveals itself in the most unexpected ways. Here, ancient stone houses cling to the hillsides, like they've been holding onto secrets for centuries. Narrow paths wind between them, each corner unfolding a new postcard-perfect view. The air carries the scent of fresh herbs, blooming flowers, and warm bread drifting from tiny family-run bakeries. The sunlight hits the rooftops in golden waves, turning the entire village into a glowing painting. As you walk deeper into the heart of this stunning little paradise, you begin to hear the soft echo of footsteps on worn cobblestones. An old clock tower above you chimes gently, marking time in a place where it almost doesn't exist. Locals sit outside their homes, greeting you with smiles that feel warm and familiar, even if you've never met before. In Italy's villages, hospitality isn't a gesture, it's a way of life. You follow a path that leads to a small square, the village's gathering point. The rhythm of daily life unfolds here. A farmer delivering baskets of fresh produce, children chasing each other through the streets, elders discussing the weather as they sip espresso from tiny cups. These small, ordinary moments are what make Italy extraordinary. Beauty here isn't manufactured, it's simply lived. A small trattoria sits at the edge of the square, covered in vines and glowing lanterns. You peek inside and find a family preparing meals using recipes passed down from generation to generation. They don't cook for tourists, they cook for the love of tradition. And if you're lucky enough to sit at one of their tables, you'll taste ingredients grown just a few steps away, folded into dishes crafted with memory and pride. It's food that feels like home, even if Italy is thousands of miles away from your own. As you continue exploring, you reach the village's highest point, a viewpoint that stretches across rolling olive groves, vineyards, and distant mountains fading into the horizon. The landscape looks like a quilt stitched together by nature and time. It's not dramatic or intense. Instead, it's peaceful, breathtaking in a quiet way. The kind of view that fills your chest with calm. You feel the breeze brush past you, carrying the soft rustle of olive trees below. The countryside seems endless, like a promise that the world still holds hidden wonders waiting to be discovered. Walking back down, you pass workshops where artisans shape clay, carve wood, and paint ceramics by hand. Their studios are small but full of life colors, textures, patterns inspired by the land and culture around them. In places like this, craftsmanship is not a dying art. It's alive, thriving, passed from father to daughter, from grandmother to grandson. Everything they create carries the fingerprint of human touch and the heart of tradition. As the sun begins to set, the village transforms once again. Warm lights glow from tiny windows. Shadows stretch across the streets. The sky turns shades of pink, orange, and pale lavender. And for a moment, you stand still, realizing you're witnessing something incredibly rare. The quiet beauty of Italy that most people never get to see. This village may not appear in flashy brochures or travel advertisements, but that's exactly what makes it unforgettable. It's a place where life slows down, where beauty is found in simple details, and where the soul of Italy speaks gently through every stone, every smile, every sunset. And as nighttime settles in, one thing becomes clear: you haven't just visited this village, you've felt it, and its memory will travel with you long after you leave. Have you ever stepped into a place so mesmerizing that it feels like time has been carefully folded, placing the past and present right on top of each other? That feeling of living inside a painting, of walking through a dream, is exactly what awaits in the next village. This is where Italy slows its heartbeat, where every street whispers history, and where beauty hides not in grand monuments, but in the small, perfect details that most travelers never notice. Stay with me, because what you're about to see will make you rethink what Italy truly means. Our journey brings us to Manarola, one of the 5 pearls of Cinque Terre, but perhaps the most striking of them all. Before we even enter the village, the view sweeps across the cliffs like a masterpiece. Towered pastel houses balanced impossibly on rugged rocks, their colors changing with the sun's soft pinks at dawn, burning gold by afternoon, deep orange by sunset. And below it all, the Mediterranean glows like liquid sapphire, crashing gently against the rocks as if applauding the scene. Manarola feels alive in a way very few places do. As we walk down the narrow main street, the scent of lemons mixes with the salty breeze from the sea. Wooden boats rest along the walkway, not as decoration, but as an everyday reminder that this is a village shaped by fishermen, storms, and centuries of survival. The houses lean so close together that sometimes the walls almost touch, forming cool tunnels of shade that offer a moment of peace from the coastal heat. Listen closely, and you'll hear the rhythm of true Italian village life. The chatter of neighbors calling from open windows, the clinking of cups from a tiny cafe where time barely moves, the rustle of grapevines climbing the terraced hills above. Those vines are everything here. Manarola is famous for its ancient wine tradition. In the steep terraces rising behind the village, locals cultivate the legendary Cinque Terre, a sweet wine once reserved for nobles. Each grape is harvested by hand because machines could never handle the extreme slopes. Every bottle is a story of endurance, passion, and deep connection to the land. As we follow the walkway toward the cliff's edge, the village reveals its most iconic perspective. This is the view that people travel across the world to see Manarola sculpted into the stone like an artist's final, perfect brushstroke. The sea stretches endlessly, turning a sparkling silver beneath the sun. Waves crash against the dark rocks below the lookout point, sending sprays of water into the air that sparkle like crystals. And yet, despite its fame, Manarola remains humble. It doesn't try to be grand. Its beauty comes from authenticity, from simplicity, from the daily lives of people who have lived here for generations. Even the trails that connect the villages, like the famous Via dell'Amore, the path of love, carry stories of families, lovers, fishermen, and travelers who walk the same steps for more than a century. Stay a moment longer as the sun begins to fall. This is when Manarola transforms. The houses ignite into warm colors, glowing like lanterns hanging from the cliff. The sky blushes purple, then red, then a soft, smoky gray. Lights flicker on one by one, and suddenly, the village looks like a floating city, suspended between sea and sky. It's a view that silences everyone who sees it, a view that feels almost unreal. But Manarola's charm is not only its beauty, it's the feeling it gives you. The feeling of stepping into a slower world, the feeling of being connected to something ancient, something eternal, the feeling that even in the most complicated places on earth, moments of pure peace still exist. Italy is full of beautiful villages, but Manarola is pure magic. And as we continue our journey deeper into Italy's most stunning hidden gems, one thing becomes clear. Beauty here is not just seen, it's felt. It stays with you long after you've left, whispering through memory like the sea against the cliffs. Imagine a village where time feels paused, where every stone whispers stories older than entire nations, and where life moves slowly enough for you to feel every breath of the wind. This isn't a place from a fairy tale. It's real, it's alive, and it exists deep in the heart of Italy. As you enter this village, it's impossible not to feel that familiar pull, the feeling that you've stumbled into a world that refuses to be forgotten. Welcome to one of Italy's most enchanting corners, a village that captures the soul long before the mind fully understands why. Walking through these narrow, cobbled pathways, you immediately notice something. Absolute silence. Not the empty kind, but a silence filled with echoes of laughter, footsteps, and centuries of memory. Old stone houses rise on both sides, their walls warm from the sun, their windows framed with flower boxes overflowing with red geraniums. Here, beauty isn't crafted, it's inherited, passed down, preserved, and lived in every single day. As you continue deeper, the scent of fresh bread drifts through the air. A tiny bakery, barely bigger than a living room, stands open, its wooden door creaking gently with a breeze. Inside, an elderly baker pulls out loaves of pane rustico, each one glowing golden from the oven. He doesn't speak right away. Instead, he nods in that silent, effortless Italian way that means, "You're welcome, even if we've never met." And without explanation, he hands you a warm slice. One bite, and you're reminded why simple food can still feel like a miracle. Beyond the bakery, the village opens into a small piazza, quiet, circular, and framed by centuries-old houses painted in earthy tones of ochre, sienna, and clay. At the center stands a fountain carved from pale stone, worn smooth by time and generations of hands. The water trickles gently, shimmering under the afternoon sun. Locals gather here every morning for espresso, every evening for conversation, and every moment in between for a sense of companionship. This is the heart of the village, and it beats slowly, softly, with a rhythm long forgotten in the modern world. Just outside the piazza, a stairway leads down to a breathtaking overlook, one of those rare places where scenery becomes an emotion. Rolling hills spill outward like waves frozen in time, covered in vineyards, olive groves, and winding terracotta paths. And far in the distance, the skyline of a medieval town rises like a crown. The breeze here is different, warmer, sweeter, carrying the scent of wild herbs and the unmistakable promise of evening. You stand there, for a moment, silent, because words feel too small for beauty this vast. As night approaches, lanterns begin to glow throughout the streets. Their gentle golden light reflects off the stone walls, creating the kind of atmosphere people travel the world searching for. Couples walk arm in arm. Children chase each other through the piazza. A mandolin plays softly from a nearby trattoria. And suddenly, you understand why people say Italy isn't a place you visit, it's a place that welcomes you home. Dinner here is simple but unforgettable. Handmade pasta, rich tomato sauces, olive oil pressed from the groves you passed earlier, local wine aged in cellars beneath the village. Each flavor tells a story, and each story reminds you why Italy has inspired travelers, artists, and dreamers for centuries. But perhaps the village's greatest gift arrives at the end of the day. When the sky turns deep blue, the stars begin to appear slowly, shy at first, then bright, unafraid, filling the sky with a quiet brilliance. You sit on a stone bench, the air cool and gentle, and everything around you feels untouched, unspoiled, and eternal. A place like this doesn't just exist, it lives. And once you've seen it, it stays with you forever. Because in this tiny Italian village, hidden behind hills and guarded by time, you discover a truth. The most beautiful places in Italy aren't the ones with the biggest monuments or the loudest crowds. They're the quiet ones, the small ones, the ones that hold onto their magic and are willing to share it with those who look closely enough to see it. Here, the world slows, so your heart can finally catch up. Have you ever stepped into a village so enchanting that it feels like time decided to stand still just for you? A place where every window has a flower box, every courtyard has a secret, and every street feels like it's been waiting centuries to tell its story? That's exactly where we're heading now. This is a journey into the heart of Italy's soul, where the country's most breathtaking villages reveal a version of life that is simple, warm, and impossibly beautiful. Our next stop is the magical village of Bagnoregio in the Cinque Terre region. A cascade of pastel-colored houses perched dramatically on the edge of a rugged cliff. As the sun rises, the entire village glows in shades of gold, pink, and lavender, painting the sea with colors that look almost unreal. The air smells like salt and sweet lemon blossoms drifting from nearby orchards. Manarola carries a charm that feels both ancient and forever young. Here, the sea is not just water, it is a lifeline, a storybook, and a reminder of just how beautiful the world can be. As you wander the narrow stone pathways, you'll notice how each corner holds a new surprise. A tiny church overlooking the sea, an old fisherman repairing his nets, or a balcony bursting with flowers that look like living confetti. The sound of seagulls echoes above, blending with the gentle crash of waves far below. In Manarola, everything feels connected. The people, the sea, the cliffs, the traditions. It's a village that teaches you how to slow down and savor the smallest details. But the magic doesn't end here. Just inland, hidden behind vineyards and hills, lies one of Tuscany's most timeless wonders, Pienza. This Renaissance village is often called the ideal city, designed in the 15th century to reflect perfect harmony and beauty. Walking through Pienza feels like stepping into the pages of a flawless painting. Honey-colored stone buildings, winding alleyways, and open views of the rolling Val d'Orcia countryside. The landscape stretches like a soft green carpet dotted with cypress trees and farms that glow warm under the afternoon sun. Inside the village, every window and doorway seems crafted with intention. Every street built to frame the surrounding world like a piece of art. This is also the birthplace of one of Italy's most beloved culinary treasures, pecorino cheese. The smell of fresh cheese, herbs, and baked bread floats through the air, inviting you to taste the traditions that have been passed down for centuries. When you sit at a small cafe overlooking the hills, time feels like it melts into the horizon. From Tuscany, we travel south to one of Italy's most dramatic and captivating villages, Civita di Bagnoregio, known as the Dying City. Suspended on a fragile volcanic hill, this village appears almost like a floating island, connected to the world only by a narrow footbridge. As you walk toward it, the wind sweeps past your face, carrying the quiet whispers of centuries gone by. Civita feels hauntingly beautiful, its medieval houses balanced at the edge of crumbling cliffs, its streets softly echoing the footsteps of visitors who come seeking wonder and silence. Inside the village, you'll find stone houses decorated with vines, small piazzas filled with sunlight, and ancient arches that open into breathtaking views of the canyon below. Civita teaches you that beauty doesn't always mean perfection. Sometimes it's the fragility, the impermanence, the delicate balance between past and present that makes a place unforgettable. And then, we journey to the south, where the whitewashed village of Polignano a Mare sits like a pearl above the Adriatic Sea. Homes carved into limestone cliffs cling boldly to the edge, while the sea crashes below in shades of deep turquoise. The sound of waves echoes inside sea caves, creating a melody that locals have heard for generations. As you walk along the narrow alleys, you'll discover poetry written on the walls, hidden viewpoints overlooking the water, and a warm coastal atmosphere that feels like summer all year long. Polignano is also home to some of Italy's most dramatic cliff diving spots, where daring athletes leap from towering heights into the crystal-clear sea. But even if you never jump, simply watching the water sparkle beneath you is enough to make your heart beat faster. When evening arrives, the sun sets behind the village, casting long, golden reflections that dance on the waves. Each of these villages, Manarola, Pienza, Civita di Bagnoregio, Polignano, a Mare, offers a different version of Italy. And yet, they all share something deeply human, a sense of warmth, belonging, and a timeless beauty that refuses to fade. These are not just places to visit, they are places that stay with you long after you've left. Italy's villages are more than destinations. They are living stories waiting for you to step inside. Have you ever stepped into a village so perfectly preserved, so deeply alive with centuries of memory, that every stone feels like it's whispering its own story? That is exactly what happens when you enter Castelmezzano and Pietrapertosa, two of Italy's most astonishing hidden mountain villages, so dramatic, so mystical, and so unreal that they feel like they belong in a fantasy film rather than on a map. This is the moment where Italy reveals not just beauty, but pure magic. Here, in the heart of the Basilicata region, mountains rise like jagged teeth toward the sky. Ancient homes cling to cliffsides that seem too steep to build on, yet generations have lived here for nearly 1,000 years. As you approach Castelmezzano, the road weaves between sharp Dolomite peaks known as the Lucanian Dolomites, and suddenly, the village appears an explosion of terracotta rooftops suspended against sheer rock. It feels less like a place built by human hands and more like a place sculpted by the mountain itself. Walking into Castelmezzano is like entering a medieval dream. Narrow alleys twist upward, sunlight flickers across stone arches, and every turn reveals a hidden viewpoint overlooking vast valleys. Life here moves gently. An elderly couple chatting in front of their door, children chasing each other through quiet squares, and the distant clanging of goat bells echoing from the slopes. The air feels cleaner, the sky clearer, and time slower. But the true wonder happens when you climb higher. Castelmezzano is famous for one of the most dramatic experiences in Italy: the flight of the angel. Imagine being strapped into a harness and launched from one mountain to another, flying more than a kilometer over empty air between Castelmezzano and its sister village, Pietrapertosa. The wind roars, the mountains stand beneath you like silent giants, and the villages shrink into miniature worlds as you glide between them. It's terrifying, it's breathtaking, and it's pure Italy, bold, beautiful, unforgettable. But even without the flight, Pietrapertosa alone is worth the journey. If Castelmezzano feels like a fairy tale carved into the mountainside, Pietrapertosa feels like its ancient guardian, a fortress village built almost entirely inside the rocks themselves. Homes emerge from stone, staircases vanish into tunnels. Pathways wrap around cliffs with views that stretch endlessly across Basilicata's wild landscape. The heart of Pietrapertosa is the Arabata Quarter, a maze of ancient alleyways that date back to the Arab rule of southern Italy in the 9th century. When you wander these narrow stone passages, you can still feel the echo of that history, the blend of cultures, the strategic importance of this high vantage point, and the centuries of quiet resilience that have shaped the village. As the sun begins to set, something magical happens. The mountains glow gold, shadows stretch across the valleys. Castelmezzano lights up slowly, one warm lantern at a time, while Pietrapertosa sparkles in the darkness like a constellation fallen from the sky. Standing between these two villages perched on cliffs, connected by 1,000 years of human courage, you begin to understand why travelers describe this place not as a destination, but as an experience that stays with you for life. This is the power of Italy's villages. They aren't just visually stunning. They connect you to something ancient, something eternal. They remind you that beauty can grow in the most unlikely places, in cliffs, in valleys, in forgotten corners of the mountains. And here, between Castelmezzano and Pietrapertosa, you feel that truth more deeply than anywhere else. You may think you've seen Italy, but not like this. Some of its most beautiful places aren't famous cities, ancient ruins, or crowded piazzas. They're hidden villages, perched on cliffs, wrapped in vineyards, carved by centuries of love, war, and tradition. And as we continue this journey, you're about to enter a world where time slows down, where every stone has a heartbeat, and every narrow street feels like a passage into another century. This is the Italy travelers dream about, but only a few ever truly find. Our path leads next to a place suspended between mountains and sky, the village of Castelmezzano. in the Lucanian Dolomites. As you approach, the jagged peaks rise like the teeth of a sleeping giant, their dramatic shapes forming one of the most breathtaking skylines anywhere in Italy. And tucked right beneath them, almost clinging to the rock face, sits a village so surreal it feels like a painting. Houses are carved directly into the mountainside. Staircases wind upward like veins of stone. And when the sun sets, the entire cliff glows in shades of amber and gold. Walking through Castelmezzano feels like stepping into an ancient legend. Narrow alleys twist around corners, revealing arches, tiny courtyards, and balconies draped with flowers. Locals sit outside their doorsteps, greeting you with warmth, as if they've been expecting you all along. There's a stillness here, a profound sense of peace that makes you forget the outside world exists at all. But this village is not only about quiet beauty. Castelmezzano is home to one of Italy's most unique and thrilling experiences: the Flight of the Angel, a zipline stretching across the valley, connecting one mountaintop village to another. Brave travelers strap in and soar over the landscape at high speed, suspended in midair, as the mountains sweep past beneath them like a waking dream. For a moment, you truly feel like you're flying a bird gliding over one of the most magical corners of Europe. Beyond the adrenaline, Castelmezzano offers a deeper kind of awe. Listen closely, and you'll hear the whispers of its past. Tales of medieval warriors hiding in these rocks. Stories of shepherds who carved out a life on terraces high above the valley, and the ancient belief that spirits once lived among the peaks. Standing here, surrounded by silence and stone, it's easy to understand how myths were born. In the heart of the village, small trattorias fill the cool evening air with the smell of local specialties like pepperoni, cruci, crispy sun-dried peppers fried to crunchy perfection, and handmade pasta shaped by generations of skilled hands. Meals here aren't fast. They aren't rushed. They're celebrations of place, people, and identity. And as you dine beneath the cliffs with lanterns glowing overhead, it feels less like a meal and more like joining a centuries-old tradition. What makes Castelmezzano unforgettable isn't just its dramatic views or thrilling adventures. It's the feeling of discovering a world untouched by noise, untouched by time, untouched by modern chaos. It's a reminder that the most extraordinary places often require a journey, a climb, or a moment of courage. But once you reach them, something inside you changes. You breathe deeper. You feel lighter. You remember that wonder still exists on this earth. And as we move forward, deeper into Italy's secret villages, one truth becomes clear. Beauty here isn't something you simply see. It's something you feel quietly, completely, and forever. Have you ever stepped into a place that feels like it's been frozen in time, untouched, unchanged, and quietly guarding centuries of secrets? In a world that moves faster every day, there are still a few corners where silence, stone, and sunlight hold more power than anything modern. And one of those rare sanctuaries lies deep in Italy's lesser-known highlands, a village where nature itself feels like a cathedral. Welcome to Castelmezzano, a mountaintop wonder carved into cliffs so dramatic it looks like a fantasy world brought to life. Castelmezzano doesn't reveal itself easily. The road winds, twists, and climbs through the rugged Lucanian Dolomites. And just as you begin to wonder if civilization has disappeared completely, the mountains open like a curtain. Suddenly, scattered between jagged peaks, you see homes built right into the rock. Terracotta roofs cling to the cliffs as though gravity forgot to pull them down. It's an entrance that overwhelms you instantly, unexpected, cinematic, almost unreal. Walking into the village is like stepping into a secret fortress. Narrow stone alleys squeeze between houses, stairways turn into tunnels, and sunlight filters down through cracks between the cliffs. Every corner seems to lead to another hidden viewpoint, another breathtaking drop, another silent lookout facing mountains older than memory itself. Castelmezzano feels ancient not because of its buildings, but because of how closely it breathes with the land around it. Life here moves slowly, beautifully, slowly. Elderly locals sit outside their homes, exchanging stories in dialects that sound like echoes of a forgotten Italian past. The scent of fresh bread drifts from tiny bakeries. The village church bell rings softly through the valley, bouncing gently off the cliffs. And everywhere you look, the mountains watch over you like guardians carved from stone. But Castelmezzano is more than a quiet retreat. It's a village with an adventurous heart. Above the rooftops, high in the sky, a single cable stretches across the valley, connecting Castelmezzano with its sister village, Pietrapertosa, known as the Volo dell'Angelo, or the Flight of the Angel. It's one of Italy's most breathtaking zip-line experiences. Imagine soaring between two cliffside villages, suspended hundreds of meters in the air, with the wind rushing past and the Dolomites beneath you falling away into a deep green sea. For a moment, you're not just a traveler, you're a bird. And yeah, the true beauty of Castelmezzano isn't found in adrenaline or adventure. It's found in the quiet moments, the small details, the way the light touches the stones at sunset. When evening falls, the mountains glow with soft, golden fire. Shadows stretch over the alleys, lanterns flicker to life, and the entire village becomes a warm constellation tucked between ancient peaks. You can sit outside, listening to the silence, watching the sky deepen into purple, and feel as though the world around you has paused just for you. As night settles deeper, Castelmezzano reveals its final gift, its stars. With almost no light pollution, the sky becomes a cathedral of constellations. The Milky Way spills across the heavens. Shooting stars streak over the cliffs, and the mountains, dark and silent, become silhouettes framing the universe itself. In those moments, you understand why people describe Castelmezzano not as a destination, but as an emotion. Here, time moves differently. Here, nature and humanity coexist in perfect balance. Here, Italy shows you a side of itself that tourists rarely see, a side defined by silence, depth, and ancient wonder. Castelmezzano isn't just a village. It's a reminder that even in the modern world, beauty can still be wild, untamed, and eternal. And as we leave these stone pathways and return to the valley below, one thing becomes clear. Places like this aren't meant to be rushed through. They're meant to be felt slowly, deeply, and with an open heart. Because once you've been touched by the spirit of Castelmezzano, a part of you will carry its mountains forever. Have you ever stumbled upon a place that feels as if it should exist only in a painting, a village so perfect, so impossibly poetic, that you wonder how the rest of the world rushed past it without noticing? In this chapter, we arrive at one of Italy's most breathtaking secrets, a village where time slows down, where life is measured not by clocks but by footsteps, church bells, and the soft rustle of vineyards swaying in the wind. As we enter, prepare yourself, because this is the chapter that makes people fall in love with Italy all over again. This is Castelmezzano, one of the most dramatic villages in all of Italy, carved directly into the jagged peaks of the Lucanian Dolomites. Here, houses cling to the mountains like ancient guardians. Rooftops blend seamlessly with stone, and narrow passageways snake upward into cliffs that glow gold at sunrise and ember red at sunset. From a distance, Castelmezzano appears almost mythical, balancing delicately between earth and sky. Walk into the village, and the world changes instantly. The air is cleaner, thinner, cooler. You can hear your own footsteps echo between stone walls that have stood for nearly 1,000 years. Laundry sways from balconies. Elderly women speak in dialects older than Italy itself. And every corner reveals another impossible view. A cliff face, a valley, a cluster of homes sitting in the lap of mountains. This village is for travelers who crave both silence and adrenaline. Those who seek calm will find it in the gentle rhythm of local life, the smell of slow-cooked Lucanica sausage drifting from kitchens, the clink of glasses filled with red Aglianico wine, the hum of conversation from tiny trattorias with only a handful of tables. But for the adventurous, Castelmezzano offers something unforgettable, one of the most spectacular flights you can experience in Europe. Here, you can take part in Il Volo dell'Angelo, the angel flight, an experience where you're harnessed onto a steel cable stretched between two mountaintop villages. And then, you fly. Literally, you soar across a valley, suspended in midair, rushing above forests, cliffs, and rooftops at nearly 100 kilometers per hour. For a moment, you're no longer a traveler, you're a bird. You're part of the landscape itself. And when you land in the neighboring village of Pietrapertosa, your heart is still pounding, your mind trying to catch up to what your body just experienced. But Castelmezzano becomes truly magical at dusk. As the sun sinks behind the mountains, the rocks above the village catch the final rays of light, turning them into a glowing palette of amber, burnt orange, and soft pink. Slowly, the village lights flicker on. Streets become illuminated veins of gold. Voices carry through the air, mingling with the sound of clinking cutlery, church bells, and the faint whistle of wind threading through the peaks. And then, there's night, a deep, velvety darkness that city dwellers have forgotten exists. Look up, and the sky becomes a cathedral of stars. No light pollution, no noise, just a quiet universe stretching infinitely above the cliffs. In that moment, you understand why people who visit Castelmezzano never forget it. It's not only the beauty, it's the feeling, the rare sensation of being small, yet somehow more alive than ever. Villagers here still carry legends. They whisper stories about ancient warriors who once hid in these mountains, about witches who were said to roam the peaks, about secret paths carved by shepherds centuries ago. And when you wander these paths yourself, illuminated only by moonlight, these legends suddenly feel closer, almost real. But perhaps the most unforgettable part of Castelmezzano is its people. They welcome you as if you're a long-lost friend. They share stories of harvest seasons, mountain storms, past winters, and their quiet pride in preserving a village that feels frozen in a more human, more heartfelt age. In a world that moves too fast, Castelmezzano remains defiantly slow, and that is its greatest magic. As you prepare to leave, you feel something unexpected, a softness in your chest, a tug of longing, the feeling that you're leaving a piece of yourself behind. And maybe that's the true beauty of Italy's hidden villages. They don't just show you a place, they show you a different way to live. Castelmezzano is not just a stop on a map. It's a reminder that beauty doesn't always shout. Sometimes, it whispers from the mountains. As our journey through Italy's most enchanting villages reaches its final chapter, we arrive at a place that perfectly embodies the romance, history, and timeless beauty of this incredible country. Civita di Bagnoregio, famously known as the Dying Town, perched atop a hill in the Lazio region. Civita di Bagnoregio is a village that seems frozen in time, a delicate masterpiece of stone and history that invites visitors to walk slowly, breathe deeply, and marvel at a landscape sculpted by centuries. From the moment you cross the narrow pedestrian bridge that connects the village to the surrounding valley, you are transported into a world of quiet charm. The cobblestone streets wind gently between centuries-old houses, their facades a patchwork of warm earth tones, weathered plaster, and blooming flowers spilling from wrought iron balconies. The absence of cars and modern noise creates an intimate, almost ethereal atmosphere here. Time feels slower, and every step is a discovery. Civita's history is as dramatic as its location. Founded over 2,500 years ago by the Etruscans, the village has endured earthquakes, erosion, and the shifting tides of human settlement, earning it the poetic nickname, the Dying Town. Yet, despite the challenges, Civita remains remarkably alive, a testament to human resilience, culture, and the enduring allure of Italian heritage. The village is small, but within its stone walls lie centuries of stories. Families who have lived here for generations, artisans preserving traditional crafts, and churches filled with centuries-old art and devotion. The heart of Civita is its Piazza San Donato, a charming square dominated by the Romanesque Church of San Donato. Its simple elegance, arched windows, and frescoed interiors invite quiet reflection. From the piazza, narrow alleyways radiate outward, each leading to hidden staircases, secret viewpoints, and quiet courtyards where locals still live the rhythms of daily life. Here, you might stumble upon a small cafe serving rich espresso and pastries, or an artisan's workshop where centuries-old techniques are preserved with pride and dedication. Beyond the village itself, the surrounding landscapes are nothing short of spectacular. Civita perches dramatically above the Tiber Valley, where rolling hills, olive groves, and vineyards stretch as far as the eye can see. From vantage points along the cliffs, the panorama is breathtaking. The soft morning light casting long shadows over the undulating terrain, the mist rising from valleys below, and the vibrant hues of Italy's countryside shifting with the seasons. It's a photographer's dream, a painter's inspiration, and a traveler's sanctuary. Culinary experiences in Civita are intimate and authentic. Local trattorias serve dishes rooted in regional tradition, from handmade pastas to locally sourced cheeses and meats. Dining here is more than a meal. It's a cultural immersion, a chance to taste Italy in its most authentic, village-rooted form. Each bite tells a story. Each sip of wine connects you to generations of careful cultivation, and each shared table fosters connection with locals who are proud to share their heritage. Walking through Civita, it's impossible not to feel a sense of connection to history, to nature, and to the simple, enduring pleasures of life. Children play in quiet squares. Elders chat on stone benches, and artists capture the village's essence in sketches and photographs. Every doorway, every balcony, and every street corner holds a story, and every visitor becomes part of the village's living tapestry. As the sun sets, the magic of Civita intensifies. The warm glow of lanterns illuminates stone walls, shadows dance along narrow passageways, and the silence of the valley below creates a peaceful contrast to the village's life-filled streets. Watching the sky turn from gold to deep indigo, you realize that places like Civita are why Italy has captured the hearts of travelers for centuries. They are living relics of history, art, and human perseverance, preserved not by grand monuments, but by the careful stewardship of those who call them home. Civita di Bagnoregio is more than just a village. It is a symbol of Italy's timeless beauty, its deep cultural roots, and the quiet wonders that lie beyond bustling cities and famous landmarks. It reminds us that travel is not only about seeing, but about feeling, connecting, and discovering the stories hidden in every stone and street. As our journey concludes, one truth becomes clear. Italy is a country of endless discoveries, where every village, river, hill, and square holds magic waiting to be experienced. From the charming alleyways of Cinque Terre to the dramatic cliffs of Amalfi, from medieval hilltops to sunlit valleys, Italy invites travelers to explore, dream, and fall in love with life itself. And in Civita di Bagnoregio, we find a perfect finale, a village that is fragile yet enduring, quiet yet profound, and above all, a timeless reminder that the most beautiful places are often those preserved in the hearts and stories of the people who live there. As our journey through Italy's most beautiful villages comes to an end, we are reminded that this country is more than landmarks. It is a living canvas of history, art, and human spirit. From the vibrant coastal towns to quiet hilltop sanctuaries, Italy captures the heart, enchants the senses, and inspires the soul. Every village we visited, every street we wandered, and every view we witnessed is a testament to Italy's timeless beauty and enduring charm. Italy is not just a destination. It is an experience, a story, and a feeling that stays with you forever. Thank you for traveling with us. Until the next adventure, keep exploring, keep discovering, and keep falling in love with the wonders of our world in Italy. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed exploring Prague as much as I enjoyed guiding you through it. If you found this travel guide helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more beautiful destinations from around the world. Got a favorite spot in Prague? Drop it in the comments.